All right, here we are. Relentless Game, turning life's chaos into power. So today we're going to talk about the three reasons men stay not only spiritually stuck, but also physically stuck. And so this will be a short one today. I think we did what three different podcasts last Saturday,
Yeah.
so we had to reshoot one. So we'll keep it pretty short today. But the first one is pretty simple, and it's one of the things that we do with the Bible stack and inside the gym as well. But is you read or you consume, but you don't apply it, and so that was a big thing that I had always done when I would get in the Bible when I first was learning, as read a chapter and then kind of just go about my and feel like, well, that's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to read that, and that's how it's supposed to work out. And then with the Bible stack, when we started to break it down, where it was, okay, now we're getting in the Word, we're finding wisdom from it, but then not only finding wisdom, but putting that wisdom into work and applying it to our life. And it's been a game changer for me. Um, and for a bunch of guys. Like we got guys in the Built Different right now. I don't know if you're seeing all the guys are sharing their Bible stacks and things like that. It's pretty cool. But that also was that keeps you stuck when you're consuming, but you're not applying it. I'll let you talk more about the physical side of it, because the physical side of it's the same way. We watch all these reels and you're on social media and you're following people, but then just not putting it into action at all.
Yeah. Well, that's all you're doing, right? You're just sitting there on your phone, you're watching it, and you know all the things that you got to do, but you're just not putting the work in. And a lot of times, whenever our clients, want to work with us inside of the gym, they're like, I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
I've taken in a lot of information, but they're like, if you're not here to hold me accountable, if you're not here to tell me, some of the exercises and when to rest, like if you're not holding me to that standard, I'm not going to do it by myself. And so, yeah, having a group of people around you that's going to help hold you accountable and hold you to that. But yeah, you got to apply it. But I think back to the Bible stack, something that I was guilty of before I really dove into it is I would just kind of speed through it.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I'd speed through it, I wouldn't really find a measurable task that meant something to me to actually apply to my life. But creating some time in the morning, and I would tell myself these stories. I already get up too early. I can't get up any earlier. I'd prioritize all of these things above God. Whenever I've humbled myself and was like, I need to prioritize God, I'm going to get up earlier because that's the most predictive power I have is being able to get up first thing in the morning. I know I can control that. And so I'll get up early, a little bit earlier than my alarm, set some time aside to do it. And I would actually get in a better mindset and a mind frame to actually get things out of the Bible and actually be able to apply it to my life. And it's cool whenever you find some wisdom out of the Bible, you start to look for opportunities, but then God has opportunities just naturally pop up, and we have all kinds of stories about that.
Yeah, I was. That's the thing is like you when we're over consuming on things, then like it almost is like you don't take any kind of action at all, especially like the physical side of it. Yeah, and in the Bible where you're just reading so much is like I get into the Bible now where it's like yesterday it was uh, John 16:33, and like just that one verse, I can break it down and find four different insights in it, and then take those four different insights and then find a how I'm going to measure that. What's the story I'm going to tell to make sure that I'm taking action on the things that insights that I took down. But then finding a lesson from it
Mm-hmm.
as well, and so it's huge. But the other side of it is like sometimes over consuming with the physical side of it, like all the real stuff.
Yeah.
There's so many people that's got so many different things that work for them, and it's different for everybody else. And so until you actually put it in the play, you don't know if it's actually going to work for you or not as far as that goes. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, I was listening to a podcast. This was probably 6 months ago or so, but this guy said something that hit me. And ever since, like, I'm obsessed with learning about working out and learning how to be a better coach and learning how to connect with people and how to get better at sales and all these other things that are going to help my skill sets, but I was just consuming, and never actually putting that into play. And this guy was in the podcast just talked about like he was telling the guy that he was on the podcast with, you've got all the information you've needed. You've been studying, you've put in all the work. You need to take that and actually go do something with it. And once I was like, dude, you're right. Like I know how to program. I know how to communicate with people. I know how to sell a program. I know how to do all these other things. I just need to actually apply that. And so then it made me kind of reframe the targets that I was setting. Instead of listen to this podcast, blah, blah, blah. It was, hey, go do this task, and then actually putting myself in a position to actually see the fruit of everything that I was consuming.
Yeah, no, it's been just applying and having that where, like I said before, though, how are you going to measure it? And then what's the story that you need to tell yourself to make sure that you're actually putting it into play and doing what you have learned. So, the other side of it's this number 2 is walking alone. We just got done with the men's Bible study at our gym. Where we broke it down, where like having 4 guys in a group and sharing, just that it brings everybody closer together by just having some insights. And then you're learning about individuals. When you're in larger groups, or sometimes you're not even larger groups, you kind of, I had a guy yesterday that was on our Relentless Faith Bible experience that we have every Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time that you can join by the link in my bio, and it's all online. And he's a 70-something-year-old guy, but his doctor had told him that like your health, like he has cancer, but he's telling him that, your health, if the more you isolate yourself, your that's a mental, your mental health will start to impact your physical health as well. And so that walking alone and not having, like, here's the deal with accountability is like, yeah, like accountability goes a long way, but like ultimately you're going to do what you want to do. You're going to have to do it yourself, but like having others that you start to share with and start to get different perspectives from. It may not be something that's the accountability side of it that you necessarily need, but just having some learning from other individuals. And so like I can point you in the right direction on things physically that maybe you didn't know, and vice versa. You could do the same thing for me. And then by just knowing that, now we can start to actually apply it and have someone that's going with it. Because here's the deal. We're all going to struggle. And so like when we're running this race, we can run this race together, and we can get a lot further together. And that's not necessarily running fast, because like when one of us fall, the other one could pick the other one up and carry them across the finish line, and we can get there. But when you're trying to run the race alone, it's just long, it's daunting. You may be a lot closer to the finish line than you even actually realize that you are. And someone like yourself, maybe you ran a little bit further ahead of me and be like, hey, bro, you were just like a mile. I was actually listening to it. The guy that when we went to the Spartan race, and he's the pastor, he was talking about a story where he was in the mountains. I think it was in Arizona, and he was at this conference. And he's a physical guy. He likes to go and likes to enjoy stuff. And so he wanted to hike this mountain. And so his flight was leaving at a certain time. And he was like, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get all the way up that mountain and be able to see the peak and be able to see what all the things that I want to see. And so he almost didn't go. But he was talking to his Uber driver, and his Uber driver is like, he's like, hey, I'm going to go to this. I'm going to try, but I have to be at the airport and do this. And the Uber driver starts talking like, oh man, I don't know, dude. Like that's a long play. You probably won't be able to make it. And it was kind of downing me, like making it where he's thinking he might not be able to get up the mountain in time. And he was like, well, I just got to do it. I've said I was going to. I'm going to try it. And so he got about halfway up the mountain. And as he was halfway up the mountain, he was about to turn around and give up, and because he thought like, oh, there's another half I have to go. And there's this guy who's always hiking that same mountain, and he was like, dude, what are you doing? He's just a stranger. he was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you turning around? You're so close to seeing something that's amazing. And the next thing you know, he's like, okay, well, he went with that guy and they climbed all the way up to it together. He was able to see from the peak, and the guy was able to show him all the different sites. Oh, this over there's this place, and over here's here. And he was like, I never would have been able to experience that if I would have just been doing it by myself and like wouldn't have at least tried. So, um, that guy was just like, I think was like sent from God to show him and point him in the right direction of how far he was, how close he was, but also that he was almost about to miss that.
That's
too.
like the perfect point of exactly what you're talking about right there. And I think guys need to hear this the most is we're so bad about shouldering everything. Like, oh, we can handle it. I don't need to delegate anything to anybody. And you think that that's what makes you tough. You think that's what makes you hard, but really that's what makes you crumble, because all that weight eventually is going to just bring you down and actually makes you weaker by the end of it. And so, yeah, man, having that trust and having that brotherhood to, just be able to take a lot of weight off your shoulders is huge, man. And that's the only way that you can grow and level up from where you are right now. Because you by yourself can only get yourself so far. We've seen that being in business together since 2021. Like, you have skill sets that I don't have, and you've been able to build me up in ways that somebody else couldn't. But then I have skill sets that you don't have. That's allowed us to take this thing to a whole new level, and we'll continue to take it to a whole new level.
No doubt. The third one is you quit halfway. You submit halfway. That's physically, but also spiritually as well. As like we're told to take up our cross and daily take up our cross. That means like being a Christian is going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. Well, not necessarily this Christian, but being a Christian is going to be difficult. Yeah, it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be hard, and there's going to be problems. That's why yesterday, John 16:33. That's what it's about. Is Jesus was talking to his disciples, and he'd come back after dying on the cross, and he'd come back, and he was saying, hey, like, you following me is going to be hard, but just know that I've already won this. I've already won this race. I've already won the world. Like, I am already, and it's going to be difficult. There's going to be struggles. And I think so many Christian men, they are struggling with things because there's resistance and there's problems that pop up, and there's going to be issues at your doorstep. But on the physical side of it is, if you're not weaponizing yourself physically, then that's the other side of it too, is like when those problems show up and you know that they're going to show up. It's not a question like if there's going to be a struggle and there's going to be an issue, they're coming. And so like, why wouldn't you want to physically armor up, but also spiritually like be armor up as well? And so that's why we get into Bible stack in the morning. That's why we're tapping into predictive power with the core 4. That's why we're taking care of ourselves physically, because we want to be able to pick up our cross, and we want to be able to go to the wherever we need to go. But it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be hard physically when you're going through workouts and like nutrition, and like you're not figuring. I had a guy yesterday that comes in that was just doing it the hard way, but once he starts to figure this out, it'll be one of these things that he's going to be set up for success long term, because he finally submitted and he finally asked for help. He came in 4 years ago, and I was like asking him, like, dude, where would you be if you would just submitted 4 years ago and come in and allowed us to be able to help you out and point you in the right direction? So we quit, and we quit halfway. Same thing with the I didn't plan that, but the talk about the mountain with the guy who climbed up the mountain, he almost quit halfway, and then like he would have missed the getting to see everything that's on that peak. And that's can be a metaphor for life with most men, is like there's so much left in your tank. I think about David Goggins would talk about like 40%, like when you're thinking that you're hitting your max physically and spiritually, you're at 40% of your capacity of what you can actually do. There's so much more that tap into. Yeah. I think about our Spartan race thing that we did this last month. and was one of those things that like in the middle of that, dude, like I was getting dizzy. Like I was telling you like, hey bro, I'm struggling right now. And I now to come to find out my blood was thick with the hemoglobin was up and things. And that was part of the reason why I was getting dizzy as far as that stuff goes. But I was able to just breathe through it, like, and the next thing is you were able to tap in, help out, but I still just kept on moving because, and it goes back to trying to do it on your own as well. It's like, I knew you were depending on me. You know what I mean? I knew you were depending on me to like show up, and like you couldn't bear it all by yourself. At the same time, I definitely couldn't bear it all by myself at that point. And so we were able to get through it. Was it our best time? No. Next time we do it, will we be able to crush it? Absolutely, because we've learned lessons from it and we've gone through it. But you've got to like if I would have just tapped out right in the middle of it and said no, I'm done. I'll give you another story. It's like when that CrossFit event that I did back in 2015, I wrecked my ankle 3 months before it. I never had sprained my ankle before. Like I never had done it. And so like that first sprain you have on your ankle, you always know like it's the worst one, like, right? Because it takes forever to heal. Like mobility was crushed. Like I was having struggles with it. I went to the chiropractor. I got needles put in it. Like they did all kinds of stuff to try to help. And I just was not going to not try. And I showed up to that event and I won. And winning that event after wrecking my ankle and just seeing it through, I think about what if I wouldn't have shown up? What if I would have just tapped out and said like, oh, hurt my ankle, couldn't do it. It'd have been easy for me to do. My wife was like, really was like, hey, you don't have to do this. You have nothing to prove. But I knew that I needed to show up and I needed to give it needed to try. And by doing that, what it did was it unlocked a new version of me of like, what else in my life am I just tapping out halfway and not going all the way in on?
Yeah, you left out that part. You went out there and won that bad boy too.
Yeah, no doubt.
First. I love that you closed it with that because this is why like it's so important to have non-negotiables that you do every single day. Like for me, I'm gonna get in the Word. I'm gonna work out. I'm going to tell my wife I love her and I'm going to hit 10,000 steps. I know that I'm going to do that every single day. If you don't have those non-negotiables, you're not showing yourself wins. And so you start getting in your own head. And whenever you have a bad day, that you fall like even underneath your baseline because you don't even have those things. Like for me, those 4 things I just named off as my baseline. I'm going to do that regardless. So I'm not falling underneath that. At least if I don't win in any other areas, I'm still there. I still created some wins. But you got to have some things that you do on a daily basis that fill up your cup and give you that fuel to be able to do all those other things that you want to accomplish. But I think a lot of times people just get too comfortable with what they're doing and they go, I'm good here. And then they end up taking their foot off of the gas and they slow all the way down where they're slamming the brakes and then they're not moving forward at all. And then they start getting in their head and then they start beating themselves up and then they fall deeper and deeper and deeper. So you've got to have a baseline of what you do on a daily basis. That's what's going to allow you to level up and do all those other things that you told yourself you want to do.
That's ultimately what we're building inside of the Grill Alliance. It starts with the Built Different challenge where we're laying it out for you on a daily basis what needs to be done and to point you in the right direction. But at the same time, give you that structure, give you a brotherhood, and give you a gamified way to see that you're making progress. And you need all these things. So if you're in this place of this land of good, and I mean the land of good is like, your finances may be good and your relationship with your wife may be good, but you're struggling in your relationship with God and you're struggling with your body. Or it may be that your finances is kind of not where it needs to be, but your fitness and your relationship with God are rocking and rolling. Then that's there's always a level to it. And if you're in this place of good, you'll never grab on to great until something happens. And then something happens. It's like you go to the doctor. I just had a heart scan the other day. And I have a heart that's under 35 years old. Like my dad was a heart failure patient. So to get the news that I got the heart of a capacity of a under age of 35, no blockages, nothing as far as that stuff goes. it allows me to start to see like, okay, well, the work that I've done, the things that I've done, but we've got to be able to have a way of doing it to where you can grab onto that great side of things. And that great side of things is you have to have a plan. You have to have structure. You have to have guidance. You need to have some men in your life that are pushing you. At the same time, when we start to just invest in all these areas and you start to just slowly, it's not something that happens overnight, you start to level up and life starts to change and starts to become more fun. And that's ultimately what we're trying to build inside, or what we are building inside of the Grill Alliance. And so,
let's be honest, like guys that just say that are in that place of good, they're hiding something. Because like, think about it when someone asks you, how you doing? I'm good. I'm good. Like there's things on your mind. There's things that you're not talking about and just saying that you're good. And I think about it like that consultation you had a couple weeks ago where that guy came in, sitting here laying out a plan and, well, how's your nutrition? Oh, it's good. It's good. Like clearly the guy had some weight to lose. Like he's just saying everything's good, but there's a reason you reached out to us and to get you into this program. Like you're not good, but you're just going to tell us to our face that you're good. So you're hiding something. You got to release that grit.
Yeah. And until you do that side of it is like, I pushed that guy, and I asked and I pushed to a point to where I'm just like, dude, you're not being honest with me. And I told him straight up, and it's like, you're in this place of good. And like with what the problem is with being in a place of good is like, you'll never let go of good to grab onto great. The men that we work with, or the women inside of the gym that we work with, those individuals that their back's against the wall and they don't have another option. I had a guy like yesterday that came in. He's like, his back's against the wall and he knows that he's like fixing to turn 50. If he doesn't do something, he knows, because he's not making the progress that he wants to, he'll take action now because he's learned a different way. And he's going to grab onto that great side of it, and he'll get to actually see what his actual capabilities are, because his back was against the wall. And so I hate for it to be that way, that sometimes your back has to be against the wall for you to take action, but don't let it be that way. Like, make a decision right now that says like, hey, I've got to do something, and I'm going to do something, and I'm going to at least just try something different. And if that's something that you, the 42 day built different, I'd love to point you in the right direction. With that is a guerrilla method. We take you through processes. And so if you go to my Instagram at seth.p.humphrey, you message me method, I'll point you in the right direction. Yeah, we can start to guide you from there. If you're on Facebook, same thing. You can shoot me a message and point you in the right direction there. But anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, all things health and fitness. You can find me at boo_train6 on Instagram. But other than that, I think we touched it.
All right. So that's the three things right there. Just to wrap it up. If you're physically and spiritually staying stuck, those three things, that what you need to do is need to apply what you're taking in. We need to have some brotherhood and quit trying to walk alone. And lastly, stop stopping. Pretty stop, because you've got to always be moving and always making progress. And even when it's tough, even when it's hard, that's when you're going to build the strength, and that's when you're going to get better, is going through that. And that's when you start to build new skill sets and start to learn new things about yourself to set you up to win long term. So for Christian, Seth Humphrey, have a fantastic day. We'll see you on the other side.
This is a relentless game, turning less chaos into power. This is a